Welcome back and welcome to another really cool conversation, especially for the dads, but I think all families out there. With Father's Day approaching, we are taking a moment to recognize and, most importantly, reflect on the contributions that fathers can and do make within the family unit, from providing guidance and stability to fostering emotional growth and resilience to providing an example. Fathers play a vital and multifaceted role in their children's lives, and certainly for their partner as well. And family therapist, one of our absolute favorites, divorce mediator and parenting coordinator, Daniela Mayer, is now joining us as we examine the unique strengths fathers bring to the parenting table and the lasting impact of their presence. So welcome to it.
Thank you.
A little bit of the pressure off you this time, so thank you so much for the previous discussion where we went through that kind of divorce gateway and what it looks like to have a family unit disrupted. Let's go nuclear now and look at that model that we are, I suppose, all striving for. What are the unique facets that a father brings to the table?
So firstly, I just want to start off by saying that I think society over the past however many centuries have dictated to us what roles each parent play and what they each bring to the table when it comes to parenting. So we are really guided by that closed-minded kind of thinking about what each parent is expected to do, and we need to kind of like get rid of that completely, because the value that a father brings to a child's life is immeasurable, especially in the formative years.
Oh, completely, yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about emotional regulation, we're talking about boundaries, we're talking about healthy gender identification, we're talking about partnerships, everything, autonomy, being an independent person. These are so many things that a father does so well for their children. So to be able to develop a well-rounded, eager, happy, independent child, a father, it's been proven so many times that that father, being so actively engaged in the child's life, has so many benefits for that child.
And what I like about this equation is all that's required is your presence. Whether you're getting it right or wrong, just your attention is winning half the battle, which is a wonderful prospect for the dads out there. Just be there. Just rock up and show up, and you'll both find your way together.
Exactly.
We are vastly different from our female counterparts, two very different energies in that space. How do those roles differ in terms of how they play out within the bringing up a child?
So I think I also just want to put a disclaimer on this, that obviously roles are interchangeable, personalities are interchangeable. So I'm going to speak on very general terms here, because you have got some fathers that are more emotional, some mothers that are more assertive, but just generally speaking, mothers are very nurturing in nature. You know, the parenting style that you might see from a mother is more like holding the emotional space, being able to talk to the child and say, how does this make you feel? It's okay, everything's going to be all right, my darling, you know, we'll deal with it. Whereas a dad's parenting style is very generally, again, often much more assertive, much more, I don't want to say the word authoritarian, but much more, they come with much more authority. They're much more practical and logical. I mean, if I think about my upbringing, if I ever went to my dad with a problem, it was never like, okay, let's just have a cuddle and a cry. It was always, okay, how do we fix it? Exactly. And this parenting style, what it brings to children is that we can actually become critical thinkers and be the masters of our own destiny in terms of being able to rectify wrongs and make good decisions. And something else that fathers bring so greatly to the table is more risk-taking. You know, mothers are very cautious when it comes to their children.
Going into those uncomfortable spaces. And
I mean, like me with my daughter, if I could wrap her in bubble wrap every day, I would. I mean, her teacher was like, she can't climb the stairs by herself. I'm like, well, that's because I never let her. Dads with their rough and tumble play, it's so important.
Oh, for sure.
They kind of like give the children that extra confidence that they can do it, you know? And that's so valuable for children.
Let's look at the early years, the formative years, where the mirror neurons are firing off, where you wish your child was learning by what you say, but they're actually learning by what they see. And I think we often forget, and that's been, I suppose, the real kind of level up for me in the parenting space, was realizing that it had absolutely nothing to do with my kids and was about me holding up a mirror. In those formative years, what kind of impact does a dad make? Surely it's about you being authentically yourself so they can model off that, as opposed to you being completely child-centric and trying to tell them or teach them how to live?
100%. So obviously in the formative years, children do not know how to express themselves properly. They're still developing their thought processes. They're developing what cause and effect are, you know. So you can tell a child something and they can listen. They can't understand what you're saying. So 100%, like, definitely actions are much more powerful. And you can never, ever tell a child to do something while you're doing something completely different, you know? You can never do that, because then they don't understand that you can do it, but they can't. And they can say, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Their little brain is just tweaking there because they cannot understand.
Exactly. So 100%. I mean, the perfect example of that is the way that a father treats the mother.
Yeah.
That's a great example, and it's across the board. So you say you will respect women, or you need to respect your partner, and you need to give them attention, and you need to listen to them. Meanwhile, every time your wife or the child's mother is talking, you're like, okay, no, I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Then the child's going to look at you and say, okay, well, you're telling me I must give her attention. This is how to give attention, is by not listening.
Yeah, and
it's a complete mixed message.
And it goes beyond just opening the odd door or two or pulling out a chair. There is a deeper layer to this level of connection. But what an opportunity as fathers to be able to play this role. It is the greatest gift, I think, that any parent can speak about. But the opportunity now to be an evolved parent, to let go of our baggage and maybe not carry that through, that's what interests me. And we have all of those pieces on the board. In fact, Daniela's not going anywhere. We're going to continue. If you've got any questions or want to weigh in, hit us up on the socials.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue our conversation, wonderful conversation with family therapist and divorce mediator and parenting coordinator and good friend of ours on the show, Daniela Mayer, as she joins us to discuss the important role of being a father and what we bring to the table, and I suppose how we can best get the best out of our men, out of those father figures, and I say this because I was brought up by a mom, so I had to learn a lot of those fatherly things from the best people around me, which was actually a great way to do it. So it's not to say if you're missing that father figure that you can't become the father that you want to be. Let's talk to the partners to get the best, and you obviously have a wonderful front row seat to see the practicality. And often we need to set the judgment aside, the preconditioned ideas, the preordained roles. Let's talk about getting the best out of a father. For a partner, what do I need to hear as a husband to feel good, to feel validated?
So I think that it's so interesting to see how, if we go like predate this back to like the beginning of time, how women have always been the home carers, the child rearers, whatever you want to call it, and the men have always been the hunters and gatherers and come home with the meat and, you know, the protectors and everything. And I think that even though we have completely changed as a society, where we're so much more accepting of different gender roles and different ideas, naturally within us, we kind of always have that as our center, as our, I'm the man, I need to provide, and I'm the woman, I need to look after the children.
I need to nurture.
So the thing is that we start with that kind of preset. And now when a father genuinely wants to be involved, I mean, we have so many instances of stay-at-home dads now while the mother goes out to work.
For sure.
I think the important thing for a partner to do, to give to the father, is firstly the space to be able to parent the child in the way that they want. In their way. And to involve them and say, you know what, okay, you want to wake up for the nighttime bottles. Instead of a mother saying, okay, well, it's my child, I need to do it.
Trust me, those nighttime feeds, if you express and allow your husband to step into that space at the beginning of the journey, it sets a precedent. It made a massive difference for me.
It sets a precedent, but it also makes the father feel like he has got value in the house, not just out of the house. And that is why it becomes so difficult for a father, because firstly, feels like he has no space in the family. His only value to the family is money or food or security or something like that. So what that does is it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because now you think, okay, well, I would really love to just cuddle my baby, but are they going to look at me and think that I'm weak? Are they going to say, this is it yeah, exactly. And then the ego kind of kicks in and goes, okay, well, you're a man, you can't be like this, you know? So I think that for a partner, it is so important to show the father of your child how much you value their presence, how much you value the fact that they want to be involved in this active engagement kind of way, you know? So just the normal stuff. Thank you so much for being here for us. Thank you so much for the help that you give us. You're such a wonderful dad. You know, all of these kind of things is just to kind of say what you want, what value you want to bring is so appreciated.
And I think if you could distill that down into, and we're listening to you speak, and it really is hitting home. Often a guy doesn't need to hear the words, I love you. That is represented by your actions. But what does go a long way is a thank you. It's amazing what validation that can bring for a guy. We think simplistically, and that can be something that you can benefit from. It doesn't take a lot to make us happy or feel validated or fulfilled. Very often it comes just with the parenting role. But a little thank you, a pat on the back, a little sporting pat on the bum goes a long way with a guy when we do need that validation. We are vulnerable at times. We are trying really, really hard, and we really do benefit from having you in our corner. Thank you so much.